Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So today I'll be starting a new Salesforce certification series. That is the CPQ Specialist. CPQ is a very popular certification in Salesforce space. It's a specialized certification. That's one of the reasons why you can see the name CPQ Specialist. Now, the word CPQ means configure, price, and code. Okay. Now, now you must be wondering, okay, so that's cool. That sounds familiar, but what the heck is CPQ anyways, right? So in simple terms, you can say CPQ is a tool for companies to provide accurate pricing with any given product configuration scenario. So that's in a nutshell. So I'll be talking in details as we go along with the certification. So today, what I'm going to do, I wanted to talk about the exam guide and the topics which we're going to cover, right? So this is just an introduction round. So, but I still believe that it's very important because I wanted to give you information around the total passing score and different things around the certification. Right. So the first thing I wanted to mention to you guys, uh, I would highly encourage you to take this certification only after you have some experience with CPQ. The reason why I'm saying, right, CPQ is a specialized certification, right? And, or I would say, if your company demands you to have a CPQ certification because a project is coming, projects in the pipeline, and so for instance your company put a tender out and they're expecting some CPQ work, yeah, then I would highly encourage you to go for the certification. But if you're someone planning to take the certification just for the sake of it, I would tell you guys to hold on for some time, right? It's good to have some real life experience with the CPQ because if you don't have a CPQ experience, then it don't make much sense. I do have CPQ experience. That's the reason why I'm going to teach you guys about the certification. I'm not a hundred like a super expert, but I have real life practical experience working with CPQ. Right now, who can take the certification? Right, so I would say pretty much anyone. Right, but in saying that, this certification is more applicable for functional consultants, uh, solution architects. Even if you are a technical architect, it's not a bad certification to have. Uh, that being said, right, if you're someone who's going to focus mostly on the CPQ side of things, for that person, CPQ certification is going to be very important. Okay, now let's look at the exam guide, right? So the best way to go to look at the exam guide, you just go to the Trailhead and you'll get all the information. It's pretty simple, right? Um, so when you look at the exam guide, right? So this is the spring 2022 release. So this is what they expect. You're going to talk about the things which they're going to expect. So before we dive into the exam outline, right? Let me show you something. So what normally Salesforce expects of before you go and take the certification, they expect you to have some knowledge on CPQ, right? What that means is that they expect you to know how to configure bundles, how to configure code line pricing fields, and how to configure a dynamic code template using code terms, how to utilize the ordering and contracting process, and you should know how to manage products, price books, and price book entries. You should have a little bit or quite a decent understanding about native and advanced rules. Um, you should know how to configure search, custom actions for product selections, configuration, knowledge about CPQ object data model. Now, if you're thinking that what I'm saying sounds like a jargon to you, it's all right. Don't worry about it, right? I'm going to cover everything from the start. So, but in saying so, right, I still believe, right, if you have a little bit of real life experience with CPQ, it will be good for you guys, right? If you don't, that's fine. All right. So they will not test you anything about Apex or Visual Force Page or billing or CPQ plugin. So you don't have to worry about it. So I mean, Salesforce certifications are pretty flexible. The main intention for uh, them to test you is to know whether you guys can do the job, right? Obviously, the purpose of certification is to get yourself upskilled, right? That's the way I look at it. So it will give you an opportunity to learn new things, give you an opportunity to do something different which you haven't done before, which is fantastic in my personal opinion because I always love to do something new. And also, it's an opportunity to showcase to your future employees that, hey, I got this certification, so I'm pretty confident that I can do the job around CPQ, right? So, okay, so kind of the job roles, right? So, like I've already mentioned that, if you're a technical architect, functional architect, or consultant, implementation consultants, that's most commonly used uh, terminology uh, for the job titles. Who for the people who going to take the certification, because most of the companies will have consultants, right? In consulting space, you have functional consultants and technical consultants. So they are often called as the functional implementation consultant or technical implementation consultant. So um, I mean, the term varies from companies to companies, right? Um, so just remember this, right? All of these profiles you can see, right? So it's applicable to them. Okay, now let's look at the real meat of the certification, right? Number of questions. Obviously, 60 multiple choice questions. So the format is pretty much the same like every other certifications you have taken in Salesforce space. The passing score is 65%, which is not too bad. Registration fees is 200 USD. So if you fail the certification, you can retake by paying $100, right? 100 USD. Fantastic, right? Now, you can take online certification, or you can online in the sense you can take it from home, or you can take, from a testing center. So that's about the housekeeping stuff when it comes to certification. Um, so let's look at the exam outline, right? So in this, like, they expect you to know CPQ platform, which is 23%, which means it's very, very important. If you look at other sections, so CPQ platform has the highest weightage. So they expect you to design, configure, troubleshoot pricing rules using lookup objects and formula fields to meet the business requirement, which is pretty basic and yet very important. Apply understanding of the code calculation sequence. I will talk about it right when we reach to this topic. So don't worry about it. Like I said, if it sounds jargon to you guys, just don't worry about it for today, right? Then you need to know how to demonstrate the knowledge about CPQ object data model as it relates to data migration, right? Uh, Set up CPQ for localization and multi-currency for international customers and users, right? Um, so I will talk about it, right? I will cover each and every topic. Um, so that's CPQ platform. Then you need to know bundle configuration, 17%, which is still pretty important. You're given a scenario, set up a bundle structure to meet the business requirements. So it's all about the bundles, right? So we will look into that. Then we have pricing, which is very important. So, talk about expected price outcomes and other stuff. Templates, 7%, still important. Product selection, search filters, and custom actions, pretty important still, right? Order contracts, amendments, renewals, 15%, very important. Then you need to know about the products, demonstrate how to set up products, price book entries, and approval process, right? So the expectation is that by the time you clear the certification, you should be very well aware of all these topics. If you're not, that means that you haven't studied very well, right? So, like I always say, right, take certification as an opportunity to learn something new, right? It's not just to pass or fail, right? I mean, you might pass, you might fail, it doesn't matter. Are you having fun in the journey? That's important, right? And along with the fun, are you learning something new, right? That's the way I look at it. For me, yes, I do understand, right? You're investing $200. It's important to pass the certification, but people do fail, right? And if you fail for whatever reason, just take it as a learning opportunity and move on, right? Try again. So that's the way it is. And right, so the topic what we're going to cover, right? So let me show you that. I'll be teaching from Trailhead. As you know, right, most of the stuffs are covered in Trailhead. And plus, I'm going to bring some of the real life experience as well. So it's going to be fun, right? We're going to do hands on, we're going to do theory. So we're going to do some fun stuff together, right? So it's going to be an interesting journey. I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, so prepare for your Salesforce CPQ certification. Sorry, specialist credentials. I have to mention CPQ Specialist, right? Because it's a specialist certification. Right, so overview, we already talked about it. So the first part is pretty much knocked off. So we are in a sweet spot, right? Then the CPQ platform, we can talk about the basics, important features, installation, settings, the package settings, page layouts, object relationship, mapping custom field between objects, translating Salesforce CPQ records. Then we talk about bundles, product bundles, right? All this stuff, right? Excuse me. Pricing information, um, product selection. So yeah, it's gonna be fun, right? I can tell you that CPQ is extremely interesting. It's really exciting topic, right? You guys really gonna have fun. And yes, it can be challenging at times, but it is really fun to do stuff in CPQ. Just one thing I wanted to tell you guys, right? Uh, I do understand that, right? I'm giving this certification free, right? So that's fine because I love to give it back to the Salesforce community. In saying so, I do expect you guys to, uh, you know, form a study group or read from Trailhead, because just don't assume that, right, I'm just making a video so you watch my video and just go and sit in the certification and you'll clear it. It's not going to happen, guys. You have to put your own time, right? You have to spend time to understand. You have to read the documentation. You have to do hands-on, right? It's an investment, right? So you have to be proactive. You can't expect me that, right? I'm just gonna make entire video and then I'll assume that you guys are pretty sweet to go. It's not gonna happen like that, right? So you guys have to put your own time and effort. And till you guys don't do it, then the certification is gonna be very difficult. I'll be very upfront, right? So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover in today's episode. So tomorrow, what we're gonna do, we're gonna start looking at the CPQ basics. So it's gonna take us roughly around maybe 15 hours, right? So we'll see how we go, right? So I don't want to rush, right? I wanted to give you guys enough time. So even in my previous certification, right, the Service Cloud, you might have seen that I've been doing quite slow. The reason why I'm doing quite slower because I want you guys to have enough time to read the material, to do different things, to practice before you start working on the next topic. So usually I would say if you are pretty new to CPQ, you will need at least 3 to 4 months, at least, of preparation. You cannot clear it just by doing 15 days. I just hate to break this to you, guys. You cannot clear CPQ certification with zero experience in 15 days if that's what you're aspiring to be. I mean, you might pass, but what's the point, right? So I would highly encourage you guys to spend at least 2 to 3 months. If you are new to CPQ, if you're experienced, if you have a lot of experience, then you'll smash it up even in a week. So you don't have to worry much. So yeah, so that's pretty much I wanted to talk about in today's episode. Thank you.